much for joining me. Firstly, I would like to say thank you so much for checking out my previous few videos. I am absolutely wrapped. All my new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. I genuinely, I'm absolutely, appreciation is not even what I can, it doesn't do justice for how I feel. Honestly, I love it. What am I showing you? Today's video. Today I decided, see everything you can see there? Scissors, pen, well, it's a pacer. We call it a pacer here in Australia. It's a mechanical pencil, a couple of pairs of scissors, tape runner, glue, and a ruler. That is all I use in this video. And I must say, I'm pretty impressed. I wanted to bring it right back to basics because I've had a few questions. Yes, I can do basic. Do I always do basic? No. Look, when we all start off, not everybody has every single tool imaginable, right? I got to say, I've got a fair few tools now. And after doing this video, I realized, wow, do punches make your life easier? Because when you go back to basics and, you know, you're cutting 1-inch squares and then you're halving them and cutting them into triangles, getting them exact, one, it's way easier on a Cricut. Two, it's way easier if you have a punch and a trimmer of some description. But for this video, I didn't use any of those things. I wanted to show you guys that it was possible to create an entire page simply using scissors, adhesive, a ruler, and a pencil. So that's what I did. And I hope you like it. So please stick around. I'm absolutely so excited that this, I will be honest, this double page layout took me give and take because I had a few things going on which I'll tell you about, but it pretty much took me all day. Now, if you have punches, if you have a Cricut or a Silhouette or a Brother Scan and Cut, or if you have any of those additional tools that we all collect over time, this would have gone a lot quicker. Also, if you weren't in Queensland, Australia, when you're doing this, in the middle of a massive rain event that's causing... Okay, so see what I just did then? Yes, I used my mat. I did it purely out of habit. I did it and then I went, oh, you're not supposed to be using your grids. Once you have these tools, it's really difficult not to utilize them. But I used it then and I realized I did, but I left it in to show you that if you have one of these mats, it doesn't have to be as big as mine. You can get little tiny ones from the $2 shop, you know, that are only sort of 6 by, I think you can get them. They're green and gold. Here in Australia, they're green and gold. And they're only sort of 6 inches by 8 inches, I think. My mat that I've got, it's an American Crafts one. I think it's 13 or 14 inches. If I can read it. Can I read it? No. I don't know. 16 or 17 inches by 10 or 12 inches, I think it is. Look, it was a labor of love cutting all these out. Why did I do a double page spread when I didn't have heaps and heaps of photos? I had 4 photos that I wanted to use. And by the way, I speed this up. I'm just doing this bit really, really slowly for, believe it or not, which I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I've got new subscribers and they're new to scrapbooking, which is so exciting. This is papercraft. You will fall in love with this. honestly. And you don't have to be super artistic. You can use basic shapes. Like I said, I have my black scissors there, my little pointy scissors. Where I got those from, no idea. It does speed up shortly, guys, just so you know. I only left this beginning section of the video slow at normal speed, so my new subscribers and my new people can see exactly how to do it. At this point, I was looking out the window. Ignore what I was doing. It is absolutely bucketing cats and dogs outside. I swear to God, it is. We have got flooding. Half our, it pains me to say, but the bottom half of Queensland, I think there's very few places at the moment that aren't experiencing some sort of flash flooding. And it really is. It's actually quite frightening. Where we are here, we don't flood so much as our stormwater drains sort of struggle. Okay, so here we go. I speed it up a bit for you now. So I've cut all these squares. I've cut all these into triangles. I've used the Dear Lizzy Stay Colourful paper pad. Why? Because I'm down to a few papers that I really struggle with really, really busy paper pads. Things like unicorns, for example. I have no clue what to do with a page full of unicorns. So what I did, and this sounds sort of barbaric, but I used the unicorn paper, I cut it down into 1-inch squares, one by one, then I cut them in half. Oh, there's my daughter popping in. They stayed home from school yesterday because of the rain. And when you cut them down, and then the way you place them, some of them you can notice if you zoom right in, but because I'm laying papers over the top as well, you don't notice the unicorn so much. I tried to use I used one tie-dye piece of paper. It looks like watercolor swirling paper. I had a little snippet left over of the white daisies. I love that paper. I love flowers at the moment. I'm going through a phase. What can I say? Okay, so 1, I love yellow. 2, this yellow piece of paper that I've cut, and again, people, what I've realised is my nails are very short and I can't pick up paper at the moment, but so this little tray I'm putting these into, by the way, I made those trays. So that's just made out of chipboard covered in paper. I even trimmed all my photos, did not use my trimmer. I didn't do anything like that. I put the adhesive and stuff on the back of these. This was hard. I gotta be honest. I can normally cut my things and I don't overly stress about them being perfect, but because I was doing this and because I'm doing super, super basic, there's nowhere to hide. So if something's slightly off, you're going to notice it. So I was really specific. I didn't want a huge border around my photos. And yes, my children are being crazy. They are being little T-Rexes with their little tiny arms. So I took some photos because I thought that would be hilarious. Now, see, I even trimming these down, you can do it with scissors. I know that sounds silly, but for those of us that have trimmers and guillotines and, you know, they make your life so much easier, and using my pink mat would have made it easier, but I've realised by now, Karen, stop doing that. You're supposed to just be using your ruler. But I like to work on my pink mat so I don't muck up my table. I'll be honest with you. Would you like to know what my table actually is? It's adhesive, wall adhesive from Amazon. And I've put it on top of a Bunnings 6-foot plastic table. That's what I work on. And it works a treat. Okay, so I'm showing you here. So I've drawn a line. So I've got my 1/4 inch border all the way around. So you can see that I've put it all the way around. Because I'm technically not supposed to be using my grid mat underneath me. Now, I'm using art glitter glue. Why? Because that's what I have. You do not need to use that. You can use just your normal stick glue for this. So you don't need anything special. Just glue, any old glue. I use the art glitter glue because it doesn't wrinkle your paper, and boy oh boy, it hangs on. So I'm not really putting very much glue on these pieces at all. And I do speed this up as well, guys, because there's a lot of triangles in that box, let me tell you. And because I'm doing a double page spread, I literally did this twice. So, but in between it all, I was running out and getting rid of water that was flooding into the back of my house, which was crazy. But it's okay. So far, so good. And I apologize if you can hear the rain in the background. I really can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about it. It's so frustrating. Right, so I go through and I think I start to speed this up here so you can see it all coming together. I really do wish that I had of maybe done a couple more pages so I had a few more to work with, because the only thing that was really hard, by only having 7 patterns, see how hard it is to get that off? It literally had dried by that point. What I realized I was doing was I had to really struggle not to have 2 of the same pattern too close to each other. If that doesn't bother you, if you only want to use 2 colors, go for it. If you want to only use 2 patterns, 3 patterns, 4 patterns, it's completely up to you. I wanted to go all out. I figured if I'm going to do a video on this and I'm going to do this process video, then I'm going to use multiple, and I'm going to get a lot of pattern on this page because I love them. It's great. I can tell you what, I have to tell you, blown away at how many views my last 2 videos have had. And my comments, I'm absolutely loving everyone coming over to my page and having a look and seeing what I do in my little corner of Australia, and I absolutely love it. I'm so happy right now. I have every intention of putting minimum of 2 videos up a week. Just 2 at minimum. So far this week I will have 4 videos go up. So I would love it if you checked out the other ones as well while you're here. I don't always do this sort of video. I love using cut files. I do own a Cricut. I do own a lot of different gadgets. I'm actually thinking about, and let me know if this is something that you would be interested in watching. I'm actually thinking about going right back. I've got an old Fiskars, it's like an embossing tool. I don't know if anyone else has one, but I was literally sort of rummaging through different things the other day, and I noticed that I still had that tool there, and I thought, I wonder if anyone still has one like that. I mean, I know we hoard the good things, but yeah, I'm just curious what sort of video you would like to see me do. I love everything. I'm trying to put a stack of different videos up so you can get a large range of the way I like to scrap. I really enjoyed getting back to basics with this one. Okay, what else can I tell you? Do you want to know a little bit about me, maybe? I've been scrapbooking for just about 20 years, on and off. Obviously, I've had my kids, all that sort of jazz. I've got 3 girls, which you see in these photos, and of which they are my life. My amazing husband, which you've seen in other videos, who is incredibly supportive and loving and caring, and he's my tech support, as is my eldest daughter. They're my tech support for this, because I'm not very tech savvy when it comes to computers and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this whole process. Okay, I really thought I sped this up more than I did. More than this looks like it's sped up. I actually enjoy watching when it's in fast forward, if that makes sense, because it just looks like it goes down so smoothly and so easily. And I do use tweezers. That was the other thing. Oh, look, I've left my phone in I've left my phone in the shot. Anybody who has been here for a little bit, they will realise that I've been working really, really hard on making sure my phone and my headphones are out of the shot. And look, they've made an appearance again. Oh, if you can hear that rain, I'm so sorry. It's cats and dogs. We've moved on to elephants and giraffes, I'm sure of it, because it's just relentless and it won't stop. We've got a massive cell right over us and it's not moving one bit, and it is dumping so much water. Okay, so back to where I was at. So see the gap between the yellow 6 by 11 and a half. That's the dimensions of the yellow with the gold writing on it. That is, see, there's a gap between my pattern papers and that gap is quite large. It's not 1/4 of an inch. It was impossible, like it just wasn't going to work. That's okay, because I end up layering another piece over that. So don't stress about the fact that it looks like, hang on, but that's not even. I fix it. I could have made my squares a little bit bigger. There was so many other things I could have done. But I really like having all the little patterns. I like all the patterns individually. I like the unicorns, but I'm not really a unicorn person. So my youngest daughter, however, loves unicorns. So when she works out that I've chopped all the unicorns up, let's figure out how that works. But that's all right. She'll be fine. No unicorns were harmed in the making of this film. So I am... This video is a bit longer. If you're sticking around, I love it. Thank you so much. I am... Or even if you're watching it fast forward, that's fine with me too. The reason I cut it back as much as I could, and you can tell that it's obviously a laborious layout I enjoyed it because, you know what, it didn't take any brain power. You're just putting triangles down. And it wasn't difficult. It was actually quite relaxing to do that. The downside is, as I said earlier, I should have added one more pattern in there or two more patterns, because that way I could have just gone around the tray next to me and just gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they wouldn't have landed on top of each other, if that makes sense. But we live, we learn. That's okay. Now, when it comes to embellishing this layout, as I've said before, sometimes I just like to keep it simple. Sometimes I love all the embellishments. So this one I try and keep simple because it is such a busy layout. Now, oh, the rain is really coming down. Apologies if you can hear it. More about me. I grew up in Caboolture, Queensland, the home of Keith Urban, and we've actually had quite a few people from our town, believe it or not. Okay, there you go. I sped it up for you. Thank goodness. I was starting to wonder if I actually did speed it up. Right. So now I'm trying to work on... I have this issue where ignore the fact that that photo's upside down. What I'm trying to work on is, because I can't use my trimmer, I have to rule it so I can cut the straight line. Now, because I can't use any other tools, I can't use my edge distressor, so I go ahead and I use my scissors. Why? You don't need to buy an edge distressor, you've got a pair of scissors. Okay, I started off and I opened up my scissors and did it this way. That's how most people use scissors for the edge distressing, right? But for me, personally, I did it like that to show you that's one way of doing it. But those little black scissors, they have quite a square edge on them. So normally I don't need to open them up and do that. So I'm trying to show you that that's how the page ended up. So it's literally mirrored. There is actually a mistake on it. I'll be interested to see if you can see where the mistake is. It did my head in, so I tried to cover it. Like I said, I can do crooked if crooked is meant to be. See these scissors? See how I'm just using the side of them? Because they have quite a flat edge on them. So this is how I normally use my scissors to do the edge distressing. And this paper that I'm using, this cardstock, is actually quite... The rain is so heavy, I'm so sorry. It's actually quite a heavy cardstock. I think I rip it here in a minute though. Which doesn't bother me, that's just more distressing in my opinion. So I just use the edge of my scissors and it gives me exactly the same effect. If you don't have these scissors in particular, you may need to open your scissors up like I showed you the first time. Especially for my newbies that are new to scrapbooking. You try what works for you and you do you. See this? Tracing paper. You know how we use vellum? All us OG scrapbookers, we use vellum. Guess what? Or you use tissue paper. A lot of people, Missy Whidden, she uses tissue paper a lot in her... See how it just mutes the pattern? It gives your eye somewhere to... all the pattern, all the bright, all the colour, all the gold. You need a little bit of somewhere for your eyes to rest. So, guess what? I'm allowed to use my fingers because that's not a tool. That's just what I have. So, I just tore the edges of it. Tracing paper costs next to nothing. I bought that Montmartre pad because I like to have all my tracing paper in one spot. But it's the same as using vellum, honestly. And I've just instead of having a straight edge, I've just torn it. It tears so easily. Okay, so the look I'm trying to go for is I'm trying to mute around the edges of that, see that white strip with the flowers and the gold? Oh, I absolutely love that. I've been hoarding this one piece because I absolutely love it. So I wanted it to go on and be the star. I wanted it to, the yellow piece I love and I had hoarded, as well as this one. So I wanted them to be the feature. And by putting the tracing paper underneath, and then I was looking at it here and I'm like, still doesn't look right. Double it up, sister. Bingo. It works perfectly. Okay, I was struggling a bit here, but stick with me. Just tear the edges so it's not even. See, tracing paper just tears beautifully. You can stamp on tracing paper. You can emboss, heat emboss on tracing paper. You can do all of that. Okay. This is where I realize if I double it on the edge, it softens the edge a little bit more. You don't seem to focus on the really busy triangles so much. You focus more on the photos. And all it is a bit of tracing paper in the background. Tracing paper costs you nothing. Like, it's so cheap. I think that pad cost me all of $3.50 from a... Where'd I get it from? I think I got it from Kaisercraft. It was either Kaisercraft or a $2 shop that we have here in Caboolture. And that was me. You can see that down the bottom. That's hilarious. That was me. My daughters kept running in all day saying, Mom, you've got 250 views. And then they'd come running back sort of half an hour later and go, you've just hit 260 views. It was so... My family is so supportive and they are right there behind me. It made my day. Truly it did. It was amazing. Okay, so see now, when I put that second layer, I didn't cut out this part of the process because with scrapbooking, I don't want you guys to go away, all my newbies to scrapping, I don't want you to go away and think that every time you watch one of these YouTube videos, oh, I can't do that. I hear it, I've heard it now a couple of times. Only a couple for me, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there. They watch the video and go, oh, I can't get it to look like that. If you think for 1 minute that any of us YouTubers get it right first time, wrong-o, we don't. We have to play with things. I mean, if you're copying a sketch, which seems to be really, really popular at the moment. Everyone's copying sketches and stuff. I have to be honest, I've never copied a sketch. But not to say I wouldn't. I just haven't. I let my brain just go wherever it wants to when I enter my craft room. So see how I'm holding it up there? See how it looks like vellum behind it? It's tracing paper. I've roughed up the edges of my white. Now I'm just fluffing up the edge. Fluffing. That's a technical term, isn't it? I'm fluffing up the edges. Just lifting them up a bit. I don't put anything underneath them to keep them up like that. And I did go along those edges and they're all... Okay, this is me telling myself mental note. Okay, so I am adding some craft foam. Now, the idea of this video is to show you that you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on tools. Like, when you're starting out, basics work. That craft foam that's sticky on one side, it raises everything up. It costs $5, $5.99 from Spotlight if you're an Australian viewer. If you're an American viewer, I know Missy Whidden always says, I think she says that she gets it from Hobby Lobby or Walmart. It's in the kids crafting section is where I find it. And it's $5.99 and I get 50 6x4 squares. So it's not expensive, but it's really good to have in your arsenal to give you depth. It works a treat. So here I have used the American Craft thickers. They're called Happy Life. I think they were with the Paige Evans, one of her packs. I'm just showing you really, I slowed it down so you can see. I just put the dots of glue behind the letters and I've popped them onto a bit of tracing paper that I've torn around the edge. That's all I'm doing. So if you've stayed this long, please consider subscribing to my channel. I am hopefully going to get another video up tomorrow for you. And if you like it, subscribe. I would be over the moon. On top of that, I'm over the moon that you even watched my video. So this is one happy Aussie. Thank you so much. And I will bring you something different real soon. Actually, I think I might do a cut file today. It's really rainy. I think I'm going to find me some rainy photos. There you go. There's some close-ups. If you look under the photo, you can see I put 2 squares around the wrong way, right where I just pointed. But I covered it up so you don't really notice it. There you go, all close up. Look at all that texture, tracing paper. See, it looks like vellum, but it was dirt cheap. And then all I do after this is run a pen border all the way around. So check out my Instagram, and thank you so much. And here's the tools I used. Thank you so very much for viewing. Bye, guys.